Good evening and welcome. Welcome to my live stream, Fight CPS and Stop Taking Away Our Children. I'm your host, Bob Pace, and I've been doing this now since October 2023. That's over 19 months ago. And I do it regularly. I do 14 live streams a week. I'm on Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. and on the weekends at 8 a.m. Then every night of the week, 7 days a week, I'm on at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. And um, that's if I don't change the schedule. Sometimes I've had to change it. Like tomorrow morning, I'll be on at 8 o'clock and not 10 o'clock in the morning. That's 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. 8, and that's all Pacific Standard Time. I'm on the West Coast of California. And I'm glad you found this room. I'm here on YouTube using the StreamYard application. I work for Vincent W. Davis, who is my attorney during my child protection case. He has 39 years of experience of fighting CPS. He's trained and licensed in juvenile law, family law, and dependency law. Also, he can do civil lawsuits, and he sued CPS and won millions of dollars. Not only does he get thousands of children returned, he wins millions of dollars in both state court and federal court. He's a trial attorney. He's a real deal. And a lot of people on the show that come here are using him. And I'm so glad because I can use you. I can help you how you want to use them. And so this child protection system is what I call this government entity that's supposed to protect our children from neglect and abuse. In 1962, Congress passed a law and they wanted to have our children protected from abuse and neglect. The agency they contacted was social services. They said to social services directive that you're going to create a child protection system. There are a lot of different names. That's why I don't say them. There's the Child Protection Services, Department of Children and Families, Department of Children's Services. There is the cabinet and so forth. So I just say CPS for the acronym. And I mean it to mean all child protection systems in every state, every county, and every country. Yes, CPS is a worldwide problem. I've spoken to over 1,700 of you people and about how bad your case is and how wrong they're doing it. And this is not only true in all the 50 states I've spoken to in the United States, but all the 23 countries, including the United States. From Bangladesh to India, to Indonesia, to the Middle East, to Saudi Arabia and Libya, then over to Africa, to Liberia, to Sudan, to the Republic of Congo, to Rwanda, then down to Mozambique, and then to the down south to South Africa and several of the provinces there. Then you go up to Europe, England, Scotland, Wales, and Denmark and Sweden. And then across the pond to North America, it's Canada, several of the provinces there, all 50 states, United States, including District of Columbia. Then south the border, Mexico, and then down in South America on the East Coast, north of Brazil, has been Grenada. Then across the South Pacific has been New Zealand. Then from the land down under, Australia, and both of its states, Victoria and the Gold Coast, Queensland. So that's a diverse group of people. And I've heard several people from even one state. They all have something in common. You all do. It's low income. And they seem to want to penalize people that have low income. It's not your fault. It's not a crime to be poor or low income. CPS needs to spend more time to offer services. Now, social services is supposed to hand out, food and clothing and transportation, medical and educational, even a job. And they're all supposed to help out with sheltering, too. help children with support services, the better off they are. For every $1,000 you spend, 8% of the children end up doing better, a lot better. Now, statistics speaking, of the 30% of the people in the United States, there are a total of 4,400,000 children that are reported. And of those reported by mandated reporters, those are professionals, 2,000 of them are not true. They're mistaken. That's over half. So mandated reporters get it right 50% of the time. The other kind of reporter are the layperson, the family, the friend, the relative, the person that worked at the store. Those are the lay people. And they maybe get right about 25% of the time because they have a tendency to abuse the system. They know if they call into CPS, your life will be disrupted. So they're hoping if they make a false claim that your life is. It's called revenge tactics. They don't like your dog or they don't like your yard growing in their yard, they're going to take care of you by threatening to get you out of the neighborhood. It's wrong. You never want to call CPS needlessly. They are a very hard agency to work with. They don't believe in family reunification. They don't. Now, I'm glad that you found me. I've already told you the times, but there's certain things you can do to interact with this live stream. Now, you can give me emojis. I love hearts and smiling faces and thumbs up, even stars. And you can check below to follow me. And also, if you want to be notified I'm on, check the notification button. Now, to send me a message, all you have to do is text. Oops, got the wrong one down. I'm sorry. Yeah, to text a message to me, all you do is phrase it as a comment or a question, and it should pertain to CPS. Please state your first name, your city or county, your state, and if you're outside the United States, your country. Also, please tell me about your CPS case from beginning to where you're at so that I can help you, so I can understand you, and so forth. Now, besides texting messages into me, you can also be a guest on my live stream. And all you have to do to be a guest is the email my show producer, grace@vincentwdavis.com. She can be emailed at grace@vincentwdavis.com. And you just tell Grace you want to be on my show as a guest, and she'll put you on. Now, I can take up 9 of you at one time. So that is a good thing. I can talk to you, including me, 10 different people. Now, she'll give you the link, and it takes you to StreamYard, which is the application we use on Facebook. And she'll tell you things like there's no eating or smoking while you're on the show. We do not use the names of children, judges, or social workers. And we do not use any slang languages or, we can't use the wrong kinds of words. This is a family show, so we got to respect the people there. So that takes care of the live stream. Now, if you want to call in and talk to me, I'm available at 626-698-0990. And I gladly talk to you. My phone is live, and you can talk about anything about CPS. All I ask you is you state your name and where you're from. And then you can tell me briefly what your case is about, and I'll try to help you. I'm here to help and assist you because you don't have anybody out there. Assistance and help is far few, and the people that do assist you are bad people. They're not in for your own interests. They have attorneys that they'll appoint, but you'll lose your case because they're not specialized enough attorneys. They're just court attorneys starting out in life, and they're paid and controlled by CPS. So you got to be careful what you tell them. Now, this is Sunday night. It's always very, very quiet, but I do have a family that comes on the show. And there's about 20 or 30 people of you, and I'm really blessed to have you there. Now, leave my phone number up so that you can call me at 626 698 0990. And I'd love to talk to you. I'd love to talk to you. Now, the other number on my screen is my law office of Vincent Davis. If you want to retain him, you can call in right now. If you have a case in LA County, his retainer is approximately $5,000, and his lawyer fee is $500 an hour. And you have to replenish the retainer because he'll be charging against it with what work he does for you. He itemizes everything, and he will charge you. I think they charge 1/10 of an hour. Now, I'm not a lawyer. I'm a family man, a loving father. I've helped raise 6 children, and I have over 42 years of marriage experience. Now, one thing I like to read off to start off the show is any kind of news, and there's been some horrible news lately. Margaret had me talk about the people in Victorville. 6 children were abused very bad by 2 adults, 60 years old, and their daughter of 23. And they've used all these children that were coming in to their home. It's bad. There's also a terrible abuse down in San Diego. And that was found too. That's just as bad. So excuse me. There was an article recently at the beginning of the week, Monday, and it was expressed by 2 people, Melissa Merrick and Jody Livingston Johnson. Now, they're well known in their field, and they had wrote opinion to the White House. Opinion to the White House. This is on the 15th, a Monday. Now, recently, a chorus of voices in child welfare have tried to frame the growing national effort to reduce unnecessary family separation as a threat to child safety. But what they're selling isn't the truth, it's fear. The child welfare group is trying to put fear in parents. And as you know, that fear fuels a system that too often harms the very children it claims to protect. The real truth is, children do best with their families. The child welfare system is too far, too long, confused poverty with neglect. They think because you're low income or in poverty, you're neglecting your family. Punishing families who are poor with separation rather than offering the supports and keep families together safely. So they rather separate it than try to keep it together. That is wrong. According to the federal statistics, 75% of child maltreatment cases involve neglect, not abuse. So only 25 is out there that involves abuse. And what is often labeled as neglect is frequently a symptom of poverty. Inadequate housing, food, insecurity, lack of child care, or missing medical appointments. It's not a willful affair to care for a child, but a lack of resources to do so. That's where the problem is, the resources. Still, more than 1/3 of all children in the U.S. will experience a Child Protection Service investigation by age of 18. 1/3. That's a lot of people. What is also further sad is that this third rises in Black people more than 50% for Black children. And that's terribly sad because color should not be an issue. Now, these investigations are invasive, traumatic, and often lead to unnecessary separation. Yet there's little evidence that these eruptions lead to a better outcome. In fact, research shows just the opposite. A study published in JAMA Pediatrics. JAMA is a journal of Association of Medical. Medical Associates, a journal of, I forgot what A stands for. Anyway, it's the pediatrics found that children placed in foster care are more likely to experience mental health issues. I've seen that in my two boys that returned, struggling in school and encounter the criminal legal system than their peers who remain in the house. Even when those peers live in a similarly challenging condition, the authors concluded that foster care placement can compound the harm to children have already experienced and rather not alleviate it. Critics often invoked child fatalities to justify the current system punitive approach. But the data will tell you more hopefully an instructive story. Children fatalities from maltreatment have actually declined over the past year. So they all talk about fatalities. But the data does tell a more hopeful and instructive story. Child fatalities come from maltreatment have actually been declining over the past year, while remaining fairly stable over the past 5 years. Experts point to key preventive factors behind this trend: expanded use of early intervention programs, better risk assessment tools, and increased access to basic supports like housing, food, and childcare. A study on state spending on public benefit programs found that for every additional $1,000 per person living in poverty spent on public benefits, child maltreatment facilities dropped by nearly as 8% rather than the evidence for more surveillance. Now, when they spend this $1,000 per person, child maltreatment facilities dropped by nearly 8% rather than evidence for more surveillance. These numbers show that when we invest in support, we save lives. The uncomfortable truth is we built a surveillance state around poor families, and we call it protection. The mandated reporting system that's the center of the child welfare policy is flawed and has led to an over-reporting of cases. Of the over the 4.4 referrals from mandated reporters in 2019. 2 million were screened out, meaning they did not warrant an investigation. Too often, family members and child safety are held up as a false dichotomy. We can both support families in a way that helps prevent the need for government intervention and provide the safety. Good evening, and I have someone that has called me on my live stream. This is Bob Pace. How can I help you?
Hello, Bob Pace.
Who am I talking to?
You're speaking with Elton Sangster.
You're Deacon Whit Spencer?
Yes, my name is Elton Sangster. I'm calling from San Diego, California.
Oh, okay. Glad to have you. Have you been on my show before?
I've watched your show a lot, especially with my CPS problems going on.
Okay.
It has led me to watch your show a lot.
Right. Do you want to share a story or tell me or have a question?
I want to share a story. I want to share me and my wife's story.
Okay. Start from the beginning, from the first time you're involved with the child protection system in San Diego.
It wasn't in San Diego, though, because what happened is that I was living in, because I'm talking about 2022.
Okay.
So I was living in Pennsylvania at the time. I wasn't around, but I'm in the military.
Right.
So
And what part of Pennsylvania? What part of Pennsylvania were you at?
I was in Pennsylvania, Drexel Hill in Pennsylvania.
Okay, is it near Scranton or
Yeah,
Philadelphia?
it's near Philadelphia. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I got an idea. So, how did they come to your house? Did they come knocking on your door? What happened?
No, my wife took the baby to New York. I'm talking about Westchester County, New York, where it happened. I wasn't there in New York at the time, but I was just living in Pennsylvania, in Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania.
Right. Hold on one second for a second. I have a call coming in. I'm going to tell them I can't talk to them. Hold on. I'll be right back with you. Hello, this is Bob Pace on live stream tonight. Who am I talking to? Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, who am I talking to?
Anita?
Hi, Anita, and welcome. I'm on the call with another person from Pennsylvania. Can you call back later tonight or call me again tomorrow?
Okay, or can I call after you guys get off the phone call?
Yeah, right. You can listen, and then when I get out the phone call, you come back in, okay?
Okay, yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Okay. Hello there again. I'm back. Do I still have the gentleman from Pennsylvania?
Yes.
Right.
Yes, I
Go.
was living in Pennsylvania at the time.
Okay.
So my wife took the baby to New York because she had family in New York.
All right.
So she took the baby in New York, and the baby got sick. The baby was born premature. The baby got sick, so she had to take the baby to the nearest hospital. It turns out that Staten Island Hospital was the hospital where she took the baby to.
So when she took the baby in, did the hospital try to interfere with her baby and report something negative against her?
That's what it was. Yes, that's what it was. That is where the baby was taken.
Okay, so your case was a mother was trying to go to the emergency room of a hospital. A social worker that was working there probably heard something or probably made a wrong conclusion and immediately asked for the baby. What was the accusation that the social worker was making?
They were saying that she wasn't feeding the baby properly and she wasn't holding the baby properly, and
so they're charged with neglect.
failure to try.
Yeah, they're charged
Yeah,
with
neglect,
neglect. Now, did they have a court order? Did they have a warrant to remove the child?
they did have one, but I didn't even know how the whole CPS thing works because
Well, the problem
I
is
didn't know how it works.
yeah, what they can't do if they have a court order, they can remove a child. But I can't believe if this just happened, they got a court order that fast.
They got the court order really, really fast because first they sent her a piece of paper via email and told her that she can sign it electronically, like to turn over the baby. And I tell her, listen, don't sign that. They're trying to get you to sign consent because they haven't gotten a court order yet.
Exactly. They're trying to bluff. They're trying to bluff you, right? Understand.
They're trying to get you to sign that paper, and that paper would have given them authority to take the baby.
Right.
You would voluntarily.
Well, you have the right. If a criminal charge is placed against you, you have a right to have an attorney present and an attorney to see what is going to be signed. So you could have asked, or she could have said, I can't sign anything. I can't look at this report. I need my attorney here. Give me your name and number, and my attorney and I will get back to you. And that is her.
Right.
That is her cue to take her child and get out of the hospital.
Yes. So I'm going to get down to where they start getting nasty because I do a lot of research on this, and what they do, what I realized that they did not do the whole due process. When a child is placed into foster care, CPS has a legal obligation to locate and find a non-respondent relative who can look after the baby for kinship care.
Right.
There was no record of that, but they document that they couldn't find that because the CPS worker called me because when she was being investigated, it forced her to call my husband. It's my husband, and they called me and said that, hey, what's going on with your wife? Does she has mental problems? But it's true, she does have mental problems, but she was always in treatment. It wasn't severe, and she was always in treatment.
Okay.
Right? So they're trying to use every little piece of things as a way to get the judge to keep the baby in foster care. Because up until now, presently, this is the status right now. She has done 3 separate courses of parenting class because we even moved to San Diego because I got military orders to San Diego, so we had to move to San Diego.
Right.
Because remember, we never lived in New York from the beginning. She was only visiting. She has done 3 separate parenting class. She has showed paperwork about her mental health treatment from 2022 up until now. And they still think that she's not capable of taking care of the child. Not only that, it's like they're telling me that, hey, even though she, who is the respondent, she is the only respondent, I'm not a respondent. And I still can't get my baby back.
Okay.
This is about a married woman who they say, okay, she's not capable of taking care of the child. That's fine. But she has a husband. She has a lot of family members. Remember, CPS came to the house in Jacksonville, Pennsylvania, and took information of every single person in that house. And none of these persons was contacted to say, hey, we're considering you for kinship care because Mr. Sangson's wife can't take care of the child, so we'd like to have a legal.
I'm sorry. Go ahead.
They have a legal obligation to find a non-responsive. If you took a child from a parent and put that child in foster care, that's literally just costing the government. The government doesn't like that. You should always explore relatives before costing the government. That's how it works.
Right.
Due process. It's the 14th Amendment. Due process. They're violating due process. So that's just where the frustration going on. And even though she has done, the only thing left for her to do as it relates to parents is to a degree parenting. Just because she has done multiple parenting class that she purchased. And even the county, San Diego County gave her one, what's it called again? Positive parenting parenting program. She has completed positive parenting program, which is a decent parenting class, a decent program in San Diego.
Uh-huh.
And she has great psychiatric doctors. She gets therapy, and they are able to see all of that, and they still don't care. Even the last court hearing, I wasn't able to go because of my military obligations. And even that too, we have a thing called the Service Member Civil Relief Act that protects child custody. And they're trying, they don't care about it, but because when she goes to court, they're telling me, when I get to go to court, they're telling me that, hey, you're in the military, so you're not able to take care of a child. That's violating the Service Member Civil Relief Act. Because you can never tell a service member that, hey, your military obligations prevent you from looking after your child. That's a big violation right here.
Right.
By saying that obligation is preventing you from looking after your child. That is a no-no.
Yeah, I agree.
So as of right now, nothing. It's been from 20, it's over 2 years now, and just nothing. We've hired attorneys. The judge don't care. Our last court hearing, because they're filed for termination of parental rights. That's what we're doing right now. Termination of parental rights.
Yeah.
So that's what we're battling right now. So, and I'm not gonna be there. I can't be there for the next hearing because I'm going away on deployment shortly. So
yeah.
SCRA is supposed to protect child custody while you're away. So I mean, it's interesting to see if they're gonna violate that again by making a ruling. Or what they're gonna do. They're supposed to make a stay. When a service member is going away on deployment, they should put a stay on that. Remember, I didn't mention this. We have done everything. We've filed a 388 petition showing everything, showing where we live. We have a lease. She have done all these printing class, sharing treatment. I can show finances, meaning that I can show that I have the money to take care of this child.
Right.
So there's nothing that a lawyer can tell us to do that we haven't done. It's been 2 years, so we've done everything possible. And they don't care. They don't care.
Yes.
Westchester County Family Court, they don't care. The purpose seems to be just to get this child to be termination of parental rights. And adopted, and that's where they make the money. Like they're really trafficking a child, and then ultimately once the child gets adopted, that's when it's really selling the child because every area makes money. The court makes money, the CPS worker makes money, and the foster mom makes money. All of this is in the name of money. They go as far as even file child support. Just make money.
I agree.
Area where
I agree.
To make money, that's just what it is right now. And,
yes.
When you talk about frustration, that's what you talk about. I don't know. Just all about money in every way. That's what it was from the beginning. It was about getting a child in foster care, and then so that they can start generating money from it. So that really is trafficking.
Right.
I don't see how this is legal. I don't see how these people are allowed to do that. I don't see how it's so legal. These people are allowed to do these things to people, and there is no one who can say, "Hey, what are you doing?" Because to me, honestly, I'm going to be blunt with it. It looks like they buy out the judge. Seriously, it looks, because there is nothing that we can show to say, hey, this is what we have done so far. I know she was probably not capable of looking after him, but this is how she is now. That is why we filed a 388 petition. A motion to say, okay, a lot of changes have been made, and this is how it is. It was dismissed. we joined, we filed a custody petition. They just dismissed that.
Why did they dismiss it?
They're not going to be all. If you call, because the court didn't tell, the judge didn't say that she dismissed it. I went online, you can see it online, and you can see that it's not there, so that means it's dismissed. And this wasn't even the first time I filed a custody petition. I filed a petition when it first happened, and I called the court and asked them, how come I haven't heard the judge say anything about the custody petition? And the court clerk said it's dismissed. So it wasn't even dismissed without notice, without reason, without nothing. It's like a criminal organization. Trust me. This CPS thing is really a criminal organization.
Yes.
Legal. Someone said something to me, and I believe someone said, listen, crime is legal in America. It just depends on who is doing it.
Right.
Because to me, that's trafficking. And we will child support thing, that was just done so that we won't be able to afford to come to court, and therefore it would be in their favor, because if they don't care that we're living far away and it costs so much to come there, because every time both of us have to take a trip, that's close to $1,500 every time to take a round trip for both of us to go to court. And sometimes we go to court and it's just a 5-minute hearing where she just adjourned the court, and then it's like, what's even the effort there? This is just criminal. That's all I see, is just criminal. And then there's nothing. It looks like even the lawyer, because we got rid of the court-appointed attorney because he wasn't doing. I hired a lawyer, and then it's like there's nothing that he can do either. The judge doesn't care about him either, because he print them out and showing her everything in the court, and the judge was like, okay, it's good that she was able to do that, but she's still not capable of looking after her child. Okay, if she's not capable of looking after the child, what about me? What is against me that prevents me from looking after my child? Because they're not trying to give back the parents the child. They want the child so that money can be generated. That's what it is.
It's all about money. It's always been about money.
How is that legal then?
Well, the problem is there's no board of directors or supervisors that watchdog the agency. The money flows like water. It flows from the federal government to the state, and from the state to the county. And it's $1 trillion business. Now, right now, social services is being investigated. The child protection system is a part of social services. So they will be caught, and they will be persecuted if they've done some wrong things, which they have done. But you're right. How can they do anything? Because no one stands up to them. And even some people done have been murdered. Nancy Schaefer stood up to the CPS, wanted to change it, and she was a senator in Georgia, and she was murdered, her and her husband, at age 75. Terrible.
And when it comes on to lie, let me share a little small portion of how they lie.
Yes.
When she goes to court, even the most recent court hearing, May 12th, they're telling the court that my wife has back problems. I'm scared to look after the baby. Come on, where's the record of that? Even with the mental health, they're saying that she's diagnosed with schizophrenia, mental retardation, and psychosis or something like that. There is no record and no psychiatrist that diagnosed her. Why is the court not verifying these diagnoses? Diagnosis is a serious thing. When someone is diagnosed, a doctor has to sign off to it with a diagnosis code that tracks it. That's how it works. Because we send in, when we filed our 388 petition, we send in a paperwork from her psychiatrist here in San Diego with a list of what she's diagnosed with as it relates to mental health.
Yes.
They ignore all of those paperwork.
That's so true.
Want the court. Those are just lies. They use these lies to influence the court to keep the child in foster care and subsequently terminate parental rights. So I'm very interested to see if while I'm away for military purposes, if they're gonna terminate my parental rights while I'm away serving. That's the most interesting thing because the Service Member Civil Relief Act protects child custody, especially when you're on deployment. And I already filed paperwork showing that I'll be away for military purposes between such time and such time. So they have all that record, but they just pretend like they don't see it. The Westchester Family Court is just a criminal organization. That's just what I see. The court, the department, everything is just like these people that sit down and say, how much money can we make from each child? You know.
Yes, that's bad. That is wrong. That's wrong.
There should be, but this is America. There should be someone you can complain and say, hey, listen, this organization is doing this to me. How is it that these people are able to get away with these criminal things and there's no one that you can go to or complain to?
Yes.
I've never had to deal with anything. Like I never know that this such thing exists where these people are allowed to pursue criminal activity, and that's just what it is. You have to just accept it, and you have to you can't take your child home, but you can have your child, money in child support for years. To take care. You have a home for your child.
Yes.
I have a home for my child. I'm in the military. They provide you with the military looks after nuclear family, and the family court purpose should in favor of nuclear family. That's what you shouldn't. What they have done so far is destroy a nuclear family.
Yes, they like to destroy families.
How could you destroy a nuclear family? What the real victim in this is the child, because the child is being tricked into thinking that this person who he's with is his parents. That's fraud.
Yes.
Isn't that fraud? Because the child believes that the foster mom is his actual mom. Because I can't tell you how much it hurts my wife when she's doing a visit and the baby's like, Mommy. You understand? That hurts like hell to hear your child calling a woman that you don't even know mom. And one of the greatest thing though that our child and this foster mom has two different biological realities. There's no one around who will ever believe that she is the mom. And after a while, even if he does it permanently, that child is gonna go want to find his parents because he's gonna look.
Yes, I do.
If you understand what I'm trying to say, yeah.
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Yes, the child, my child, and the foster mom are two different,
I agree.
But this whole thing is just crazy, and we just don't know what to do anymore. Anything that we try to put in court, like file to show that we're capable of doing what we're supposed to be doing, they just dismiss it. 3-day petition, custody petition, dismissed without even notice, without even reason. When you call the court and tell them, hey, why was my custody petition dismissed? They say, speak to your lawyer about it. And the lawyer doesn't know either because he didn't get that information either. It was just dismissed. The judge didn't say it was dismissed at court. You just check the electronic website where you can see your case, and it's just not there. Once it's not there, you know that it must have been dismissed. And if they call the court and tell them that, and they tell you it's dismissed, they're just not going to tell you why. There's nothing you can do.
Well, got to have an attorney to fight them. That's what you're leading up to.
Yeah, but I can't tell you how much money I'm spending attorney fees.
Probably way too much. Way too much because you probably didn't find the right attorney. One of the keys to success of fighting CPS is having the right attorney.
Maybe you're right, but once the attorney comes and the judge don't care about your attorney, she's doing her own thing. Like
Well, the judge and the court appointed attorneys and the social workers and the clerks and the bailiffs are all in cahoots with each other.
Yeah, I know that. I realized that. That's why we got rid of the court appointed attorney and we hired our own attorney.
Right. But even people that get the real attorneys get the wrong one.
Yeah, I agree. That could,
because they'll get a criminal attorney and they need a juvenile law attorney, a family law attorney, and a dependency law attorney. Those are the three areas of law that you're caught up with CPS.
Yeah. All right.
So that's probably not what you want to hear, but it sounds like, is your case open or closed right now?
It's still going on. We have a permanency hearing on July 15th.
Okay, you need to fight that. You need to fight that permanency. Well, you got to be around.
No, I'm not going to be around because I'm going on deployment. I'm going on deployment I'm going on deployment next month. And the permanency hearing is in July, so deployment is mandatory.
Okay.
Yeah, but
well, what about your child? I'm confused because.
Yeah, but you see, court should pay the proceedings once you're going on deployment. They cannot make a ruling when you're not around. They cannot make a default judgment when you're not around.
Okay.
Court should, yes. As per Service Member Civil Relief Act, that is law. They cannot make a ruling once you're away for military purposes. They're not supposed to make a ruling while you're away. You're supposed to show them that, hey, you're going to be away, which I did, and they're supposed to stay the proceeding until you come back. I filed paperwork that show when we're going to come back, so they're supposed to show some respect for that and at least stay the proceeding so that I can come back and continue this. Hopefully by then I'll accumulate some money where I can fight this up some more. That's just what I'm thinking.
Yes,
I don't know.
I concur with you. I concur what you're thinking. But the hardest thing you're going to be able to do is, what's the status of your attorney you have right now in place? What's the status?
What do you mean?
Well, are you still hired? He says he's the wrong attorney.
Yeah, he's still hired. He's still hired.
What has he not done wrong? What has he done wrong?
He hasn't done nothing wrong. He has fight. He has showed the court everything. The judge just don't care about his argument. The judge don't care about his litigation. She just don't care about his argument. She don't want to hear nothing from him.
Okay.
Yes, she don't want to hear nothing from him. Because he was showing her everything. He print them out and was showing her in court. And she was like, it's good, okay, I see that. But she's still not capable of looking after her child.
Yeah.
After all those parenting classes, like she's letting him know that, you're not the one who run things. Subsequently, it's me. It's her that makes the decision. So she's not having what he's saying.
Wow. Now, do you still get to visit your child?
Virtually.
Oh,
And
virtually.
sometimes I can't because, huh?
That's not
Yeah,
good.
sometimes
Virtually, that's not good at
yeah,
all.
yeah, but they should. Sometimes I'm not around, so I can't be on my phone, especially when I'm working, because New York time zone and California time zone is different. That's where it's challenging. And if I'm at work, I can't be on my. I get to see him sometimes, but not every visit I can attend. My wife can attend every visit because she's.
Okay.
I
Okay.
can, yeah, I can attend every visit. So use that against me. So, even when I'm at work and I'm trying to use it, trying to see him like virtually,
Yes.
I gotta be smart with it so I don't make it obvious that I'm on the phone video calling. So sometimes I'll just remain silent. They even use that against me too, to say, hey, you participate, but he's just there not saying anything. But I gotta be smart. When you're on a military base, you're not supposed to have a rolling camera on.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to have a rolling camera on because they don't like their environment being videotaped. Like,
Well, you have a right to document because they lie. They lie.
Yeah, yeah. They're the liest people I've ever. They lie. They say some lies that doesn't even make any sense because they're saying that she has back problems, but they're not showing any medical records that say that. How do you say someone has back problems? She can't look after the baby, but you don't have. Where's the doctor that says? Which doctor that says that? You just say, okay, she has back problems, Your Honor, so she can't. How does the court accept that without medical record? You have this disease and that's accepted. Where's the medical record that shows that?
Yes, I agree.
I
What you say?
thought court works on proof and show paperwork that this thing is true.
Yes. Yes. That is hard. Now I know there's a lady listening to you tonight that she wanted to talk after you. Do you want to give up your talk now to her so she can talk about her case?
Yeah.
Okay. I want to thank you so much for calling in and sharing your case with all my listeners because what you say will help them. Also, I want you to know I'm on twice a day, and if you want to talk again, you're more than welcome to. Now, would you like to also?
Yeah, I'm always.
Would you like to talk to Mr. Davis, my attorney, for free for 15 minutes on a private Zoom call?
All right. Yeah.
All you have to do is email me, not email me. I'm sorry. Text me your full name, your email, and your phone number, and I'll set you up. I will set you up with my show producer who will contact you, and then she'll explain to you, and she'll give you a link to get on StreamYard, and you can, she'll give you a link to get on Zoom with Mr. Davis, and you'll be able to talk to him.
Okay.
And make a list of questions, prioritize the questions, number them, and he's not a clock watcher, and talk to him, okay?
Okay.
All right. Well, it's good talking to you, and God bless you, and we'll talk again.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you very, very much. Hello, this is Bob Pace on live stream.
Hello, hi, this is Anita again.
Yes, I'm glad you called in. I was waiting for you. And you'd like to start off your case, please?
Well, I don't have a case. I have been speaking with Mr. Vincent, but I had a question.
Oh, sure. If you don't have a case, how are you speaking with Mr. Vincent Davis?
Oh, because my nephew has a child that we're trying to have placed in our home.
Okay.
But I was just worried because my husband, he has a record from over 12 years ago.
Okay.
But nothing to do with child abuse, nothing to do with child endangerment.
All right.
But it was him fighting CPS not had no new cases within 12 years or more. So I was worried about what could happen, like what they maybe not give this baby.
Okay.
I didn't know. Do I have to have the birth parents, go with me to go file those papers, the 388 and something else you told me to do?
Well, if you're going to file a 388 motion, it's got to be done by the person who is a part of the lawsuit, either the attorney, if it's a court-appointed attorney or attorney they hired, or if it pro se, the person that is filed it is pertaining to them. A second party is not allowed to do legal. That's got to be done by an attorney of record, or it's also got to be done by the person involved, would be the pro se approach.
Okay, so it would have to be my nephew and his girlfriend. They're involved with CPS. They're the ones
Okay, they're involved in it. They're going to have to get either a court-appointed attorney to file a 388 or hire an attorney.
Okay.
And that 388 has got to be filed on legal paper with the lines and everything, and it's got to be served on all parties.
Okay, we don't know how to work it yet, but
well, it's usually done by an attorney. You're trying to do it. It's like I tell people, if you want to use yourself, can you imagine doing open heart surgery and cutting open your body cavity and pulling out the heart and try working the heart? No, you're going to get yourself an attorney.
Yes. Okay. So, we're a low-income family.
Yes, I know it's really hard. But one thing I can tell you, by you talking to me on this live stream, you're eligible for a free 15-minute with a bona fide attorney. It's Vincent Davis. He'll talk to you for 15 minutes for free. And that way you can ask the legal parts. You said you're already talking to him, but here's another opportunity to talk to him some more.
Yeah, I have his personal number. I'll text him. But
okay.
Guys, do you think that it would matter if my husband had a background from over 12 years ago?
No, but the problem is most people don't expunge their records. So anything in the past is going to resurface again. And what I tell people is to expunge the records, meaning you need to have it taken off.
Okay, so that means that if they run his background, then he won't be able to displace with this?
Well, not necessarily, but they're going to make some ways with it because they're interested in money. And so you're curtailing them getting any money. So they don't like to do that way. They're...
Well, they're telling me they want me, once I get her, that I still have to take the foster parent classes. And then once...
Why would you have to take it? I'm confused. Why would you take the foster parent classes?
That's what they told me to do.
Are you the next of kin? Are you the children be placed with you?
Yes, and I want the baby to be placed with them.
Right. Okay, that's fine. That's fine. I'm glad you're doing that. I'm glad you're doing that.
But we're hoping that we can get her. But my husband's record is what's scaring us. Do you think we would still be able to get her?
Well, I don't know what kind of a record you're talking. Is it a criminal record? What is the record that you were? It is a criminal record. Well, that can hurt because CPS always like to live in the past, and they will try to bring up things against you. It's not. They shouldn't have, but you need a real good attorney to exercise your rights.
Okay, and can you tell me again, what was that case where they're not supposed to look at your background again? Do you remember that case? What case it was? I know Vincent told me about it, but if not, I can just call tomorrow back and ask him again.
Yeah, I don't know which. There's so many cases you look at, but what you want to do is that whatever your husband has a record on, if he's already been incarcerated or already served his time and he's clear of any further wrongdoing, then you have a right to expunge it, to have it taken off.
Okay, but until then, it's going to stop us from getting the baby, right?
It's not going to stop you. It's like no one has a crystal ball. All I know is that CPS is very corrupt, and they're looking for ways to always make more money off keeping the children in the system. Yeah, because
they told me once I finish the foster parent classes, then they're going to send me somewhere where I can adopt the baby. Because I told her I don't have money to adopt the baby, and she said, "No, we're going to help you do that." So I was like, "Okay."
Well, that sounds like a pretty good thing because it does cost money. A adoption is a pretty expensive thing to do.
But she's not here yet, you know?
Yes.
She's not here yet.
Yes, I
So
understand.
once we get her, once we get her here, then I wouldn't be so worried. I would believe them more. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, because now they're telling me, oh, don't worry, you don't take the foster parent classes right now. But when you get her, you do have to take them, okay? And I was like, okay. So they said they're gonna place her as a.
They're not bad. They're not bad. I've taken all the family placement classes, and I've taken things I didn't have to, but I did it just for knowledge.
Yeah, well, yeah, she said that they're gonna do a family placement with me, and then I still have to get foster care. I still have to get I still have to get my foster care license.
No, you don't need a foster care license. What? Oh, you're not a family member. You're not a family member, right?
I have to be I am a family member. I'm the auntie.
Well, if you're on the auntie, you don't need to have a license. Your family.
Well, yeah, make their money. If they want to make their money, I do, right?
No, not necessary. What you can do is that you can petition the court to be a guardianship of that child.
Okay, and how do I do that?
Well, you just petition the court. You file a petition. What city and state are you again? What city and state are you again?
San Bernardino, California.
San Bernardino. This sounds very familiar. Have we talked before?
No. But I just recently talked to Vincent Davis, Mr. Vincent Davis last week.
Oh, okay. And
Yeah, so
San Bernardino County. I'll find out. Just hold on a second. What is the San Bernardino County? What is the question you want to ask now?
Do I need the birth parents, to go down there and file guardianship with me, or file for petition guardianship for the baby, since I'm a family member?
How does a family member file for guardianship? You want guardianship, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, in San Bernardino County in California, how does a family file for guardianship? And
After the child with CPS.
yeah, see,
Because
San County,
because baby girl, she's been in CPS for 6 months now.
Yeah, hold on a second. I got to put CPS in there too.
Yeah. And the parents are willing to go down there with me to file for guardianship and give me guardianship, but we just need to know, how do we do it? Because their court case is coming up soon, and we want to take care of it before then.
Well, there's a book called The Guardianship that you can, a step-by-step guide. You should get that book. It's $9.99, but I give it half off if you use my name, which is PACE, PACE 50. And you go to sand.store / attorney VWD. And you get the book real easy there.
Okay.
There's also a self-help guide by the probate guardianship in California, by the California court. It's a health, and it's selfhelp.court.california.gov.
Okay.
And what is guardianship? See, a guardianship is when an adult who's not a child parent is legally responsible for the child care because the child parent is unable to care for them. It may also mean someone manages the child's money or property the child has a lot. There are two types of guardianships. There's guardianships of the person and guardianship of the estate. So you probably want the guardianship of the person. The court orders that an adult is a guardian other than the child's parent, has the right to make legal decisions in the child's life and is responsible for the child's care. For example, the guardian makes decisions about the child's medical care and where the child goes to school. The guardian must also provide the children with housing, food, clothing, and is responsible for the child's safety and protection.
Mm-hmm.
And
but if they're in CPS, who do we file the paperwork with? Is CPS considered the guardian?
No. You gotta, here it is. You start with a guardianship case. You fill out the paperwork, asked to be a guardian. And this is all through the California courts. You notify family members, you notify the family's members and close relatives about your request to have a copy of court papers given to them. This is called giving notice. You have to notify. So you start a guardianship and you fill out the paper. Then you give family members notice. Then the court will appoint someone to do an investigation, meet with you, and check your background. The investigation will write a report for the judge. Then you're going to prepare for and go to your court date. That's where you prepare for and go before the judge, and that's where they'll make a decision. It's only a 4-step process. It's not very hard.
Okay, now once they make the decision, then what do I do? Do I give the paperwork to CPS and then they release the child?
No, you don't give. I mean, you show them to CPS that you have guardianship of the child, and they have to turn over the child wherever the child's at.
Perfect. Okay, thank you so much.
I mean, I don't know if. Yeah. All right. Well, if you want to, again, what was your name in San Bernardino? What was your name?
My name is Anita Harder.
Anita Harder. It was a pleasure talking to you, Anita Harder. And because you talked on my show, you can be 15 minutes with Vincent Davis and talk to him for free on a private Zoom. All right. Okay. All you have to do is give me your full name, your email, and your phone number, and I can arrange it. I can arrange it. Okay.
I already have his cell number.
Yeah, I know that, but if you want it free, then that's what you can do. But,
okay, you ready? Are you ready?
No, you're going to text it to me at this number, 626-698-0990. That's my number you're talking to. You text me the message.
Okay, I'll text you.
All right.
Okay,
I got it. Oh, thank you very much. And good evening, Christopher. Pardon? I'm getting ready to sign off the show. Okay. Christopher Wilson, thank you for coming there. Hello, I'm in Mississippi, Alcorn County. I have a message you a few shows ago. I remember that and caught the end of your show. How long are you going to be on live now? Well, at 8:14, my show's over at 8 o'clock. So I'll be on again tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. tomorrow. Recently, that Wednesday, my boys, 3 and 1 got suspended. I'm so sorry to hear about that. Now, Chorus, glad to meet you. You're in Alabama. And I'm going to raise hell till I get them home. I know you are, Cora. And you have to fight them. I know how hard it is. So I'm glad that you called in. Now, my show ends at 8 o'clock, and so I have to end it now. And thank you so much for calling in. I'll be again on at 8 o'clock tomorrow morning, and then tomorrow night at 7 o'clock. So thank you all for listening. God bless you. Keep fighting for your children. And this is Bob Pace signing off.